Why would Modi ask Indians to buy less gold, avoid unnecessary foreign travel, save fuel, and use public transport? At first, it sounds like simple lifestyle advice. But it is actually connected to one of the most important pressure points in India's economy: dollars. Because India may live in rupees, earn in rupees, and spend in rupees, but many of the things that keep the country running are paid for in dollars: crude oil, gold, gas, fertilizers, electronics, industrial machinery. And this is where Modi's message becomes important. He was not just asking people to spend less, he was asking India to leak fewer dollars. Welcome back to the India Playbook. Today, we are looking at why gold, foreign travel, and fuel suddenly became part of a national economic conversation. Because when a prime minister tells people to avoid unnecessary gold purchases or foreign trips, the real question is not, why is he talking about personal spending? The real question is, what is happening behind the scenes that makes these personal choices important? And the answer begins with India's foreign exchange reserves. According to the numbers being discussed, India's forex reserves fell from around $728 billion in late February to around $691 billion by early May. That is a fall of nearly $38 billion in about 8 weeks. Now, India is nowhere close to a 1991-style crisis. That comparison would be wrong. In 1991, India had barely enough foreign exchange to cover a few weeks of imports. Today, India still has one of the world's largest forex reserves and many months of import cover. So this is not a panic situation, but it is a pressure situation. And Modi's message looks like a preemptive warning. The government is basically saying, we are not in trouble yet, but we cannot behave as if the global situation is normal. Because when global uncertainty rises, India's import bill becomes the first place where pressure shows up. The biggest example is crude oil. India is one of the world's largest oil importers. The country cannot simply stop importing oil because the economy depends on it. Trucks need diesel, factories need energy, airlines need fuel, households need cooking gas. So oil is not an easy lever to cut. Fertilizers are also difficult. India depends heavily on fertilizer imports, and you cannot suddenly cut them without hurting agriculture and food supply. Electronics and industrial machinery are also linked to jobs, production, and growth. So when the government looks for areas where dollar outflow can be reduced without directly damaging factories or food supply, two areas stand out: gold and foreign travel. And this is the interesting part. Most Indians do not think of gold as an import. They think of it as jewellery, tradition, safety, wedding shopping, festival buying, and family wealth. But from the economy's point of view, gold has another side. Most of the gold India consumes is imported. So every time demand for gold rises sharply, more dollars leave the country. That is why gold matters. It may sit quietly in household lockers, but before it reaches those lockers, it has already affected India's import bill. The same logic applies to foreign travel. A foreign holiday looks like a personal choice: a honeymoon in Bali, a family trip to Dubai, shopping in Singapore, a destination wedding in Thailand. Individually, these are private decisions. But at scale, they become a foreign exchange outflow. Because the spending happens outside India. Flights, hotels, shopping, restaurants, wedding venues, all of it adds up. And that is why Modi focused on these two areas. Gold and foreign travel are not essential imports like oil or fertilizer. They are big dollar items that can be delayed, reduced, or substituted. A family may not be able to stop using fuel. A farmer cannot avoid fertilizer. A factory cannot stop importing a critical machine. But a gold purchase can sometimes wait. A foreign vacation can sometimes become a domestic holiday. That is the economic logic behind the appeal. It is not about banning anything. It is about asking people to separate what is essential from what is avoidable. And India has done versions of this before. In 1965, during the Pakistan War, Lal Bahadur Shastri asked Indians to skip one meal every Monday. He did not just ask the public to sacrifice, he did it himself. The message was simple. If the country is under pressure, the citizen becomes part of the response. In 1991, when India faced a serious balance of payments crisis, the government had to pledge gold to raise foreign currency. That was a real emergency. In 2013, when the rupee came under pressure, the government raised gold import duties to slow down gold demand. In 2022, after the Russia-Ukraine war pushed up global pressure, gold duties were raised again. So Modi's appeal fits into a much older Indian playbook. When the rupee or foreign exchange comes under pressure, the government usually tries to reduce what is flowing out, attract what can flow in, and only in extreme cases use emergency measures. This time, Modi is beginning with the first move. Reduce avoidable outflows. Save fuel. Buy less imported gold. Avoid unnecessary foreign spending. Choose Indian products where possible. Use public transport when you can. And this is also why the message is political, not just economic. Terms like current account deficit, forex reserves, and import cover are too technical for most people. So Modi translated macroeconomics into daily behavior. Instead of saying India must protect its current account, he says save fuel. Instead of saying gold imports are pressuring foreign exchange, he says avoid unnecessary gold buying. Instead of saying overseas spending increases dollar outflow, he says travel within India where possible. That is smart political communication. It turns a complex national problem into something people can understand through their own lives. But long-term, appeals alone will not be enough. India will need better public transport, better domestic tourism, better financial products, and better Indian manufacturing. A speech can create temporary discipline, but systems create permanent behavior change. So Modi's message should not be seen only as buy less gold or travel less. The bigger message is this. India is trying to reduce its vulnerability in a dollar-dominated world. India is growing fast, but it still depends heavily on imported energy, imported gold, imported fertilizers, imported electronics, and imported technology. And whenever the world becomes unstable, that dependence becomes expensive. So when Modi asks India to reduce gold buying and avoid unnecessary foreign travel, the headline may sound simple, but the real message is much bigger. India is trying to protect its economic breathing space. And in a dollar-dominated world, that may become one of the most important political messages of the year.